Hello, welcome again to Great Lakes Sasquatch. The Squatch tale we have for you today is called Deer Hunting with Bigfoot. On November 17th, 2003, I was deer hunting in the Rifle River State Park near Rose City in Ogama County, Michigan. I'm a retired ship's captain and have hunted and traveled all over the world. I'm used to judging distance in the outdoors and knowing where I am at all times. I was on the west border of the park, about 300 yards from the southern border. The Rifle River State Park contains mixed pine and hardwood forest. The river itself, the Rifle River, was about half a mile to my east as I walked north. Around 9 a.m., I had walked into the area from the south and stopped to let the forest quiet. I watched as 3 female deer crossed my path about 75 yards north of me. They were stopping and looking back to the west as they moved to the east. I thought that a buck would be sure to follow. What I saw was a figure that walked silently through the woods. It seemed to be a very large man in a fur coat. I thought, what a fool to be out here in the woods in a fur coat and no hunter's orange during deer season. I had on an orange hunting coat and hat. As I stood up, the man turned to face me. It was then that I realized that this may not be a man. It turned and ran in the direction that it had come. I could not believe how quiet it ran through the woods. This animal was about 6'8", had gray-brown hair, and seemed to have arms that were longer than a human's. It walked upright, but not as a man would, and not as a chimp or other primate that I know of would. There seemed to be white hair around the face and on the chest. About 100 to 200 yards beyond where the animal stood, there is a small stand of pines and then a swamp. The deer moved toward the swamp. The animal ran to the west. This is an area that is slightly higher ground and provides heavy cover. The more I think about it, I am convinced that it was trailing or hunting those deer. It was the rut and those does would be in heat. This could have mixed my presence. I wish I had gone to the place that I saw the animal and looked for tracks or sign. I believe that the animal was tracking the deer and did not see me because of that. There was a slight wind that put the animal upwind of me. I have been hunting for over 50 years and have spent many days in the wilderness at a time, but I have never seen such an animal. I have never seen any animal so large move so quietly. I've hunted bear, white-tailed deer, boar, and moose. Never had any of those animals moved through the woods without making a sound. In fact, I had heard the 3 deer well before I saw them. When I got back to camp, I mentioned this incident to a guy that has hunted the area for decades. I only told him that I saw a guy in a fur coat. He seemed to be a little concerned about going back to the area. He did not seem surprised at all, and he chose not to hunt that area again. I have not hunted that area again either. A follow-up investigation report was conducted by BFRO investigator Stan Courtney. Here is his report. I spoke at length with the witness by phone. The witness has traveled extensively and hunted big game in Africa, Asia, and Alaska. He assumed that he was not detected by the animal because he was standing downwind. He was within 50 yards of it when it stopped and looked at him. He was very impressed by how quickly the animal moved through the woods and was out of sight. As he made his way back to camp, he felt that he was being followed and watched. Thanks for joining us today for Squatch Tales on Great Lakes Sasquatch. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know what you think in the comments. Links to our social media accounts are in the description box below. If you have an encounter from the Great Lakes region that you would like to share, please email me, Great Lakes Sasquatch at gmail.com. And if you love Sasquatch stories just as much as I do, please support some of my favorite Bigfoot channels and Squatchy friends. Hiker Dave, N.E. Bigfoot, Dixie Cryptid, Peg West Bigfoot, Blue Ridge Bigfoot, Bigfoot Case Files, and Bigfoot and Beyond. I'll put links to these channels in the description box below. Have a great day, and happy squatching!